I would like to introduce you all to my new friend, whose name I should have thought of before I started recording. I would like to introduce you all to my new friend, Torpedo the tortoise. She may seem a little bit shy at first, but give her a chance and she will come out of her shell. Sorry, I had to. Hey everyone, and welcome to Skein Spider. Hope you're all doing well. Today we are going to be making a tortoise or a turtle with a movable head. Now, while I'm pretty happy with how this pattern has turned out, I'm currently working on a couple of different ways to get the head movement a little bit more seamless. So if you see an update to this pattern at some point in the future, don't be surprised. But for now, if you'd like to make one of these guys, grab your hooks and let's get started. To make this pattern, you're going to need a 4mm hook, scissors, stitch markers, a needle, stuffing, as well as a pair of safety eyes and yarn in colours of your choice. Just before we begin today, I wanted to say that you can actually make this pattern with any yarn weight and hook size that you like. So for instance, this little guy here at the front was made with 8-ply yarn and a 3mm hook. This one was made with, size 5 yarn and I think a 5mm hook. And this guy here was made out of yarn scraps that I'm guessing are either a size 6 or larger, and I used a size 7 hook, I think. But I'm not sure exactly what the weight of this one was. But either way, you can make these out of any yarn you like. Just make sure that you have the correct hook size for your yarn. So let's set them aside. We'll put him in the corner there. And then we'll go on to the pattern. So we're going to begin with the head, and we're going to start with 6 single crochet in a magic circle. Round 2 is 6 increases. That's just putting 2 single crochet in each stitch of the previous round. Round 3 begins with 2 single crochet, 1 and 2, and then we're going to do 3 half double crochet increases in a row. To begin with, to do a half double crochet, you're going to yarn over first and then go into your stitch, yarn over and pull through again. This will leave you with 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops. That's how you do a half double crochet. So we've done 1 in the stitch so far. To do a half double crochet increase, we're going to do another half double crochet in that same stitch. And then you're going to repeat that 2 more times. After your third half double crochet increase, we're going to finish the round with 7 single crochet. At the end of round 3, you should have 15 stitches in your round, and then rounds 4, 5 and 6 are just going to be 15 single crochet each. Round 7 begins with 2 single crochet. And 2. And then we're going to do 3 decreases in a row. So to do an invisible decrease, we're going to go under the front loops of the next 2 stitches, yarn over and pull through both of those front loops. This will leave you with 2 loops on your hook. To finish the decrease, yarn over and just pull through both of those loops. Repeat this twice more. And our second decrease, or rather our third decrease, and then we're going to finish the round with 7 single crochet. After round 7, you can take out your hook and just secure your end with a stitch marker, because we're going to insert the safety eyes and then begin stuffing. So first you want to locate the front of the head, and that's going to be where those 3 half double crochet increases were. So that sits at the front there, and I'm just going to press the head flat so I can know to put one eye on this side and one eye on this side. I'm going to be using 14mm safety eyes, but what size you use is going to depend on what weight of yarn you're using, and also down to personal preference how you like your eyes to look. So we're going to take our safety eyes and insert those between rounds 3 and 4. When they're both in, open up the head and just make sure they're sitting evenly. So you don't want to have one sitting back here and one sitting up here, or maybe you do. I'm not going to tell you how to put the eyes on your tortoise, but you do you. And then we're going to put the backs on once we're happy with their placement. If I can get it in there. And then when the eyes are on, we're just going to begin adding a little bit of stuffing to the head. When that's done, we're going to reinsert our hooks and continue on with round 8, which is going to be 2 single crochet, 2 decreases and 6 single crochet. Round 9 is just 10 single crochet. Both rounds 10 and 11 are going to be 5 half double crochet and then 5 slip stitches. When you come to do your slip stitches, what you want to do is just ease up on your tension a little bit, because if you crochet those too tightly, they're going to be really difficult to work into in the next round. So crochet your half double crochet as normal, but with the slip stitches, just ease up a little bit on your tension. Round 12 is 3 single crochet and a decrease repeated twice. After round 12, we're just going to add a little bit more stuffing. When you're ready, continue on with round 13, which is going to start with 1 slip stitch, followed by 4 half double crochet and then 3 slip stitches. Again, like we've done in rounds 10 and 11, with the slip stitches, you want to ease up on your tension a little bit, crocheting a little bit looser. After round 14, we're just going to add a little bit more stuffing again. And then round 15 is going to be 2 single crochet, 1 decrease repeated twice. Round 16 and 17 are just going to be 6 single crochet, or you can do 12 single crochet consecutively, and also round 17 is going to be our final round. When you're finished, just cut a short tail, pull up with your hook, and then we're going to insert a tiny bit more stuffing into the neck. You want this end piece to be fairly firm when you stuff it, because that's the part that's going to be inserted into the body to make the head movable. So if it's not firm enough, it's not going to be able to push its way into the body past the stuffing that's inside the shell. So you want to make that fairly firm. When you've added all the stuffing, we're just going to close up this hole so it doesn't come out. So we're going to thread the tail end through our needles. And we're going to go under the front loops of the last 6 stitches. So start from behind the front loop, push your needle under the front loop and then forward. 5 and 6, and then we're just going to pull on that firmly so the hole closes up. But for now, we're just going to take our needle out and leave this tail as it is because we're going to need that later. So set the head aside for now, and then grab whatever color yarn you're going to be using for the shell. So we're still using our 4mm hooks if we're using 12 play yarn like I am, and we're going to begin the shell by putting 6 single crochet in a magic circle. Round 2 is 6 increases. Round 3 is 3 single crochet followed by 3 increases repeated twice. Round 4 begins with 1 single crochet, and then we're going to follow this up with 1 increase, and then repeat 2 single crochet, 1 increase 5 times. This is going to leave us with 1 stitch left in our round. Single crochet into that. Round 5 is just 24 single crochet. Round 6 is 3 single crochet and an increase repeated 6 times. Round 7 is 30 single crochet. Now for round 8, and this also applies to some of our future rounds too, I'm going to be breaking this part of the pattern up into A, B and C, just because I think it makes it a little bit easier to understand. So round 8 part A is going to be 2 single crochet, 1 increase, 4 single crochet, 1 increase, and then 2 single crochet. Round A part B is going to be worked into the front loop only, so that is the part of the stitch that's closest to us. So you're going to go into the front loop, and into this front loop we're just going to put 1 single crochet. Now grab a spare stitch marker, and into the back loop we're going to place this stitch marker. So in the front loop we have a single crochet, and then into the back loop we have a stitch marker. And you're just going to leave that stitch marker there for now. We don't need to use that until later on. And then we're going to continue with round A, part C, which is worked in both loops again as normal. And we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 increase, 1 increase, and then we're going to be repeating 4 single crochet, 1 increase 3 times. And then we should have 2 stitches left. Go ahead and single crochet into both of those. Round 9 is going to be the final round of the shell, and this round is worked entirely into the front loops. We're going to do 11 single crochet, 1 increase repeated 3 times in the front loop only. What I'm also going to do is, after I've done stitch number 1 in the front loop, I'm going to take a second stitch marker and just place that in the back loop, like so. And then continue crocheting, 11 single crochet, 1 increase repeated 3 times. When you've done the third increase, we're just going to finish off with the shell. So slip stitch into the first stitch to finish, and then cut a short tail. This tail, it just needs to be long enough that you can weave it in later, but we're going to get to that at the assembly stage. But for now you want to bring in your second colour. So for me, I'm using the same colour as I did, which is white, for the head and the neck, but you can use whatever colour. And then we're going to remove this second stitch marker that we put in that was in the back loop of stitch number 1. We're going to insert our hook into there and then line up our next colour behind this stitch, and we're going to pull that through the back loop and then join with a slip stitch. Just keep in mind that this slip stitch is not going to be counting as a stitch in the round, so I'm going to go back into that same stitch, or back loop I should be calling it, and then I'm going to single crochet. Just going to place my stitch marker. I'm going to place my stitch marker there, and that is going to be stitch number 1 of round 10. So for round 10, we're going to be working into the exposed back loops that were left from round 9, and we're just going to do 36 single crochet. I am also going to be working over this tail end, which you can do as well, or if you would prefer to, weave that in to hide it. Round 11, like round 8, is also going to be divided up into parts A, B and C. So round 11 part A begins with 2 single crochet, 1 decrease, 4 single crochet and then another decrease. In round 11 part B, we're going to be creating the space for the neck. So what you want to do is chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then we're going to skip the next 4 stitches in the previous round. So skip 4 stitches of round 10. As you can see, my decrease was here. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then into this 5th stitch is where I'm going to begin round 11 part C, which starts with a decrease. So in that fifth stitch, I'm going to go under the front loop of the 1st stitch of my decrease, and then I'll go into the 6th stitch, or rather the front loop of the 6th stitch, to finish my decrease. And then I'm going to continue round 11 part C with 4 single crochet, 1 decrease repeated 3 times. You should have 2 stitches left in your round, and we're just going to finish with 2 single crochet. Round 12 is also broken down into 3 separate parts. So round 12 part A begins with 4 single crochet. Then into the 5th stitch, we're going to do a popcorn stitch. The popcorn stitch starts with 5 double crochet in the same stitch. To make a double crochet, yarn over first. You're going to go into the stitch, yarn over and pull through. You should have 3 loops on your hook at this point. Yarn over again, pull through only the first 2 loops, and this will leave you with 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over for a final time and then pull through those 2 loops. And that's how you do the double crochet. We're going to do that 4 more times. Yarn over, go into the stitch, yarn over, pull through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2, yarn over, pull through the final 2. 3 more times. When you've done all 5 double crochet, pull up with your hook until you leave a fairly large loop, and be careful not to tug on your yarn because you don't want to pull this loop through. You're going to insert your hook into the first double crochet that we did. If you're not sure which one this is, start at number 5, the last one we made, and count backwards. 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. You're going to insert your hook under the front and back loops, starting from the front, so here, and pushing your pushing your hook under the front and back loops to the back. Take this large loop that we left and place that on the head of your hook, and then pull on the yarn when it stays on there. Pull on the yarn to tighten it back up. And you're going to take this loop and pull it through the first double crochet that we made, like you're doing a slip stitch. When you've done that, the final step is to chain 1, and that is your popcorn stitch complete. So after the first popcorn stitch, we're going to do 10 single crochet. If you can't see which stitch you need to work into next, just nudge your popcorn stitch aside because they can be quite bulky. So get that out of the way and then you'll be able to see which stitch you need to work into next. 1, 2, 3. After you've done 3 single crochet, you're going to come up against the chain 4 that we did in the previous round. You're going to single crochet across this using the back loops. So I'm going into the back loop of the first chain, 1, back loop of the second chain, 2, third chain, and then the fourth chain. So that's 7 single crochet out of the 10 done. Our next single crochet, number 8, is going to be back down here. This would have been the decrease from the previous round. 8, 9, and then 10. After the 10th single crochet, we're going to do another popcorn stitch. So put 5 double crochet in the same stitch. 1, pull up with your hook, insert your hook into the first double crochet, place the loop on your hook and then pull it through the first double crochet, chain 1, and then we're going to do 5 single crochet, another popcorn stitch, and then 3 more single crochet. 2 and 3. Now that was all part A. Part B is going to be worked into the front loop only. So I'm going to go into the front loop of the next stitch and then do a single crochet. And like we've done before, just take your spare stitch marker and place it in the back loop. You don't really need to do this. I just like having a visual aid when I'm working into the next round. It makes it a little bit easier. And then into this stitch, so we're still on round 12 part B, we're going to do a picot stitch. After the single crochet in the front loop, chain 3, 1, 2, and 3. And then we're going to crochet into the back bump of the first chain. If you're not sure what the back bump is, I want you to look at your stitches from front on, so you can see the V of your front loop and your back loop. If you turn those over, you'll be able to see, hopefully, behind the stitch, there's the little bumps of yarn. That's the back bump. So we want to work into this one here, which is the back bump of the first chain. And we're just going to single crochet into that. There we go. And then we're going to go on to round 12 part C, which is 3 single crochet. So from our picot stitch, we're going straight into the next stitch. 1, 2, and 3. And you should have 1 stitch left. Into this stitch, we're going to do another popcorn stitch. And chain 1. And then we can go on to round 13. Round 13 is 3 single crochet, 1 decrease, repeated 6 times. But what you'll need to do is, just let me get my stitch marker in. You'll need to work into the chain 1 from each of the popcorn stitches and also the back loop of the picot stitch. So we'll do it together to begin with. So we've got 1 single crochet, 2, and 3. For this first decrease I'm going to be doing, I'm going to go under the front loop of the next stitch, but the next front loop is going to be from the chain 1 of the popcorn stitch. So I'm going to go under that and complete my decrease. And then I'm going to continue with 3 single crochet, 1 decrease. So I've just done the last decrease of my third repeat. The next stitch I need to work into is going to be the chain 1 of the popcorn stitch, so that is 1 there, 2, 3, and this will be my 4th decrease. And I'm just going to continue on with my decreasing. 1, I've just done my 5th decrease, so for my 6th pattern repeat of 3 single crochet 1 decrease, I'm going to need to work into the back loop from the picot stitch as well as the chain 1 from the popcorn stitch. So 5th decrease is done. I'm going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch. My 2nd single crochet is going to be into the back loop from my picot stitch. I probably took my stitch marker out a little bit early, but it's okay, we can still see it, hopefully. There we go, into the back loop. That's single crochet number 2. Single crochet number 3 is going to be back here. Three. And then to do my decrease, I'm going to go into the next stitch, and then lastly the chain 1 from the popcorn stitch and decrease, and that is my 6th and final decrease for round 13. At this point we're going to stop, so you want to take out your hook and secure your end, and we're going to be inserting the neck. What you want to do now is grab your needle, and we're going to thread that with the tail end again. You're going to take this needle and insert it straight through the space we made from our chain 4. So from outside to inside, and just pull that through. And once the head reaches this point, you're going to hold that and then push that through just a little bit. You only want a little bit of the neck sticking out at this point on the inside. Grab the needle again. And then what we're going to do is just turn the shell inside out a little bit. It makes it a bit easier to work with. And this back loop that we've had marked off for quite a while, we're going to insert the needle under that and then pull the yarn through. Once you've done that, you can take that stitch marker out. We don't need that anymore. But we're going to pull the neck. There we go, got it through. Okay, so we're going to pull the neck fairly tightly against this back loop. If I bring it in close, let's focus up here. And it might be a little bit hard to see because of the white on white, but here's the end of the neck and here's the back loop. So they're nice and close. And then all I'm going to do is tie a knot to keep those together. It helps if your needle stays threaded. So rethread your needle if you need to, but then just tie a knot and pull it fairly tightly. And that's not too bad, okay? And then I'm going to do that a couple more times just so it's nice and secure. Okay, that's 3 knots made, and then I'm just going to, for just an additional bit of security, weave this tail end through the backs of the stitches from my shell. And then we can cut off the excess. Now this neck at this point is going to be flopping all over the place, but don't worry about that just yet, we'll fix that up later. For now we're going to continue with round 14 of the body. So take out your stitch marker and reinsert your hook. And then we're going to do 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, and then repeat 2 single crochet, 1 decrease 5 times, and finish the round with 1 single crochet for round 14. After round 14, we're going to begin stuffing the body. Before we do that, we're going to insert our neck. So all you need to do is push that into the body like so. And once that's done, you can begin adding the stuffing. Now with the shell on the body, you only want to stuff those very lightly. You need to stuff just enough that they can maintain their shape, but it needs to be loose enough that the head, or rather the neck, can move freely. So you don't want to overdo it. Alright, and that's probably just enough. Alright, the head's popped out again, but that's okay. We will fix that later. Once you've got your stuffing in, we're going to finish off the body. We're going to start with round 15, which is 1 single crochet, 1 decrease repeated 6 times. And then our final round, round 16, is just 6 decreases. We're going to finish off the body in the same manner that we finished off the neck. So cut a tail, pull up with your hook, thread that end through your needle, and then go under the front loops of the last 6 stitches. And 6, pull that closed. You're going to insert your needle back into the center of round 16 and then just weave that through the body to secure the yarn. You just want to be careful when you're doing this that if your neck is still inserted into the body, that you don't sew through that, because that will stop any movement. So just be careful of that. And then cut off any excess yarn when you're done. This end that we've got left over from when we changed from the shell to the body, I'm just going to thread that through our needle. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to weave this in. And then finally, you can push that neck right down into the body. You'll have to bring up the outside a little bit, so your tortoise can hide in their shell, and then when they're ready they can just poke their head up. I hope you guys like this pattern. I had a lot of fun designing it. I know it's not perfect, but I am thinking of different ways to try and get the movement nice and smooth, and also so you don't have a floppy head if it falls out of the chain 4 space. So at some point in the future there may be an update for this pattern, but I'll see how we go. But in the meantime, if you haven't already, maybe hit the subscribe button, and I will see you all next week with a new pattern.